No, sorry to cut you off, but I think it's very important to make sure that you separate the people who are teaching real estate in a get rich quick scheme fashion versus people who are teaching it in a way that you're building long-term wealth. People learning from Bigger Pockets or from yourself, Ray, or from Joe and I. People who are preaching that real estate is a long-term game, and if you invest with a long-term mindset, you will build wealth. But I think sometimes people get caught up in the flashiness of the get rich quick scheme side of things, which I personally think is a little disappointing when people are preaching that sort of information because it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, long
Yeah.
term is the key here, right?
Yeah.
So if you hold it long term, you will build both wealth and cash flow in
Yeah.
the process. And your mistakes can be forgiven in that process.
Hmm.
But if you're looking at to get rich overnight kind of scheme, then real estate is a very, very costly game to
Yes.
Mhm.
enter into because just your expenses to buy and sell, look at it like from your closing cost standpoint.
Hmm.
So that alone could run up till maybe 12 to 15%, right? So in that sense, yes, you have to be long term and definitely you have to learn it from the right people who
Hmm.
are not doing it for the money, but doing it for the passion to teach it to the other people and are in for the long term game. And they also talk to you about not only the rewards, but also the risk that kind of comes along with it. Because it's
Yeah.
important to know the risks that are along with it.
To your point, Ray, I always make the analogy that real estate or just really just investments in general are educated risks or educated gambles. I hate to say the word gamble because obviously that's like, putting $100,000 on black. It's not the case, but it's an educated gamble. There are things that can go wrong. But like you were saying earlier, if you listen to the podcast, if you read the books, if you listen to your mentors, you can kind of put guardrails for yourself. I make the analogy of like you're not going to get into a Ferrari and drive 120 miles across a bridge and think that you're going to be okay. That's very high risk and very low reward. Chances are you're going to crash. But if you get into, a Toyota Camry and you drive 50 miles per hour down the you're most likely not going to crash. You're going to get to your destination. Yeah, there's definitely still risk there. Every time you get into a car, there's, an accident can happen, things that are out of your control. But for the most part, as long as you're setting those guardrails for yourself, you're going to be okay.
Absolutely. And then there are things that are outside of your control, economy, interest rates, employment, unemployment, those kind of things are outside of your control. But again, as educated you are, you know the risk and then the potential to absorb those risks. So those are in place.